Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our webinar on TruSense Forklift. Today, our guest speaker will be Charles Pomley. He's our TruSense founder, and he'll be here to discuss our new wearable technology and that delivers real-time protection against incidents. And if you have any questions as we're moving along this process, if you will, please just put your comments in the chat, and we'll discuss at the end of the webinar. With that said, we'll go ahead and we'll jump right in. All right, so a little bit first about Arbill. Safety is our focus and our only focus. We've been in business over 80 years. We're a national provider for industrial and government entities. We've got over 50 years manufacturing experience with TruLine brand, and that is our brand. Arbill is proud to say that TruLine is our brand. Arbill independently tests PPE to ensure it meets or exceeds the guidelines. And of course, in 2015, Arbill introduced a holistic program that encompasses safety products, safety programs, safety technology, and of course, EHS managed services. We're also a certified woman-owned business and proud of all of our accolades, as you see there at the bottom. So just a little bit about myself. I'm the director of EHS managed services. I've been with Arbill now a little over 2 years, or excuse me, a year and a half. And most of my experience has been in the poultry industry and in the safety world, a little over 28 years worth of experience, and a whole bachelor's degree, business and marketing with a CFR general industry certification from the University of Alabama. Charles, I'm going to let you introduce yourself.
Thanks, Jack. Pleasure to be here. So my accent might give me a little bit away, but I'm actually based in France. I've spent most of my career in technology and helping enterprise really adopt digital solutions to make their workplace better. First part of my career is very much around more sort of the white collar industry. So spending a lot of time in banks and insurances and telcos. And for the last 10 years, I've really been working with more kind of, shop floor and blue collar type. So a lot of hygiene, a lot of rodent monitoring, and quite a lot of warehouse. And I think I'm really excited to work with Arbill to bring the solution to market. I think we've got a lot of very unique features that I think can help bring a bit more safety into the workplace that we'll be talking about in a few minutes.
All right, appreciate it, Charles. So just to give you a little rundown of our agenda today, we're going to just talk about the benefits of our wearable technology. Some of those key topics include causes of forklift-related incidents, talking about pedestrian safety and high-risk zones, how TruSense wearables can deliver real-time protection, best practices for implementation, and of course, building a proactive safety culture. So just a little bit, first of all, is we're going to kind of cover a little bit about the standards, and then we'll jump right into the wearable technology. So powered industrial trucks, often called PIT, some examples are forklifts, fork trucks, order pickers, cherry pickers, extended boom trucks, yard tractors, and the list goes on. Some of the incident statistics, approximately 35,000 serious injuries and 62,000 non-serious injuries per year are attributed to PIT. So kind of let that sink in, 35,000 serious injuries. And of course, that's why we're introducing this new technology for you guys today. OSHA estimates 11,000 of PITs in use are involved in incidents every year. The primary causes, obviously, and they are noteworthy, is first, approximately 25% of the forklift injuries are caused by vehicle tipping or overturning. Additionally, pedestrians incidents account for almost 36% of forklift fatalities, typically involving pedestrians being struck by a vehicle. Some of the regulatory requirements, of course, you've got general industry and you've got construction. General industry 1910-178 and construction 1926-602. Due to the hazards and accidents involving PIT, OSHA has developed a strict regulatory requirements, and most of us know those. So you've got to have a written program. You've got to have safety inspections or develop safe inspection, maintenance, and operation procedures. You've got to train your operators, and you've got to train all employees on PIT safety as well. So a PIT program, for the most part, it must contain the types and styles of PIT used at your facility, operational requirements, inspection procedures, training requirements, and maintenance procedures. Training requirements, they must be certified in the specific type and style, safe operation and how to operate the PIT, the dynamics and the functions, how to do inspections and maintenance, and whatever those maintenance requirements may be, workplace regulations and procedures for that particular operation, of course, operator performance evaluation to be sure they can operate that piece of equipment safely. Refresher training course happens every 3 years. Refresher training, however, can be conducted when observers are operating in an unsafe manner, they're involved in an incident, they've received an unsatisfactory evaluation, the operator is assigned to drive different type of PIT in the workplace, or workplace conditions change in a manner that everybody needs to be able to operate that piece of equipment safely. Best practices as far as PPE, and again, locations differ based on where they're at and what their jobs are, but hand protection, safety vests, hard hat, bump caps, or even climbing style type helmets, safety glasses, closed toe and steel toed shoes. And then what we want to do is kind of get this kicked off is just ask a question is, what should a forklift driver do at cross aisles in areas where their vision is obstructed? You've got A, stop and look left and right. That sounds like a good idea. Turn off the forklift and listen to traffic. That sounds pretty good as well. Exit the forklift and check for hazards. Not sure that's a good idea. Could be. Or D, slow down and sound the horn. I'll give everybody kind of a second to think about that one. For those that said D, you would be correct. Slow down and sound the horn. So with that said, we're going to kind of jump right into the second part of our presentation here. And Charles is our forklift founder, TruSense Forklift founder, and we're going to let him kind of take over the presentation. So Charles, take it away.
Thanks, Jack. So we are obviously going to talk about technology and something that we believe can really help alerting workers that are in busy places and increase the awareness of what's going on. If you want to switch to the next one, please, Chuck. Yep. So the invention of this kind of goes back to about 5 years ago. We found ourselves at the beginning of the whole COVID breakdown with obviously a lot of customers that could not close their operations. They were running manufacturing, they were running warehousing, and they had to kind of very quickly find a way to keep their workers safe by knowing how far from each other they were for how long. We were lucky enough to be one of the few companies that were able to bring to market a contact tracing solution based on simple technology using a combination of Bluetooth and some cloud technology that we already had built and repurposed it. And that put us in a position that was just incredible. We found ourselves on the front page of the New York Times twice. We were on the front page of the Financial Times in London. We just literally went from having, none of this solution existing in March to being deployed globally by the end of 2020 by many large corporates all over the world. I should switch back to the next one. So this really was the basis on which we developed the TruSense forklift, because during that period, a lot of the customers for that contact tracing solutions were warehouse operators, and they kept questioning me, could we repurpose that solution to do warehouse safety? And we did some initial testing. It was pretty clear quite quickly that the technology that we were doing, Bluetooth, just was not suitable. It wasn't accurate enough. It wasn't quick enough in detecting things and then changes in around fairly moving fast vehicles and pedestrians. and just didn't give any form of real precise range, especially. Bluetooth is very, really good for certain things, but that was definitely not the way we could go about it. So after some extensive trials, we decided that we would move on from what we had and look for alternatives. Please to the next one. So we work with many of our large customers. I mean, as an organization, we really are very rooted in enterprise. We've always worked with large global brands. As I mentioned earlier, some of them are in kind of the logistics. Some of them are more in the manufacturing, partially pharma. We had a lot of very strong work with, and some of them were more kind of technology and software like Microsoft, which has been a partner of ours for a long time. The common theme was that we need to find the right tech, and what we ended up choosing is something called ultra wideband. Now, UWB, which is kind of a competing standard to Bluetooth, the likelihood is you may have come across ultra wideband if you have an Apple phone and one of the AirTags. The little device that obviously allows you to find your keys or your bag that you may have mislaid. And if you use the Apple AirTag and the Find My app, you will notice that at some point, the device can be really very easily and very precisely found, as well as the direction of where it is compared to where your phone is. And that's possible because those devices, the little AirTags, use this technology called ultra wideband. And the fact that Apple adopted that technology made it much more available, generally, much more affordable, because they started driving a lot of volume into the market. And so we were able to start working with it very successfully. And really the key advantages that we see with this is, compared to the Bluetooth that we had used before, it is really, really accurate. I mean, you can go down to 4 inches worth of precision. It is extremely fast. Again, this to give you a sense, a Bluetooth device that you might be using, every day for your headphones or something like that, typically talks to, another device like your phone every few hundred milliseconds. So maybe the maximum is going to talk to the device in 1 second is 10 times, and very often it's less than that. The ultra wideband is literally constantly barraging the air with messages, and we're in the nanosecond world. So literally thousands of times per second, these devices kind of broadcasting saying, I'm here, I'm here. And of course, the receiving device is then able to use that to accurately assess the direction as well as the direction. And that also allows us to give that very much a real-time confidence that, if certain parameters are met, if a pedestrian is about to walk into a machinery, for example, we can give that very, very quick response, given that everything is going on. Now, the other benefit of using ultra wideband is that, unlike Bluetooth, which also operates on similar radio frequencies as Wi-Fi, which means that you're in a very busy radio space, ultra wideband is actually using much, much higher frequencies. And so you are in a situation where you're far less at risk of having radio damage by other devices in the same area. So it's very universal. Also means that it works all over the world. So we don't need to develop a version for North America and another one for Asia and another one for Europe. It's actually the same frequencies everywhere. And then, of course, the final piece is really around the battery life. So we want to make sure that the devices that we have can work an entire shift and beyond. So in terms of the system, we developed 3 devices. And it's also a very important part of our design from the beginning. We didn't want to have something that was specific to a brand of truck, or have to kind of be retrofitted and kind of involve any form of access and engineering onto the machinery itself, because we know that creates all sorts of worries and issues around liability, around ease of deployment. So we have 3 devices that are all physically the same but have a different purpose. They're all very small, and they basically, one of them gets mounted onto the vehicle, and that's kind of the one that's going to spend its time ranging for both pedestrians and drivers. And then we have two wearables, one for pedestrians and one for drivers, with the unique position that, of course, a lot of picking warehouses, drivers are also pedestrians when they're off their truck. And the technology allows us to very, very quickly and completely seamlessly transform a driver wearable. So obviously when they're sitting on their truck, as soon as they step out, they become a pedestrian, and obviously they're going to get warned about other potential forklifts. So that's a very neat position. And all of them obviously beep. And we'll show a little video to show how it all works.
Forklifts keep warehouses moving, but they also pose one of the biggest safety risks on the floor. That's why Arbill is introducing TruSense Forklift, a wearable proximity alert system that helps prevent collisions before they happen. Here's how it works. Pedestrians wear compact TruSense devices on armbands, wristbands, or safety vests. Forklift operators wear them too, and every forklift is equipped with a mounted TruSense unit. When a forklift and pedestrian come within a set distance, both parties are instantly alerted. Devices vibrate, giving pedestrians enough time to stop, slow down, or change direction before an incident occurs. With TruSense Forklift, facilities will mitigate the risks inherent in warehouse environments, including tight aisles, blind corners, and high traffic zones. TruSense Forklift, powered by MicroShare, is safety that adapts to your space without slowing you down. And it works without Wi-Fi or cellular signals, so protection is always on. Create a smarter, more responsive warehouse where people and equipment move in sync for maximum safety and productivity. TruSense Forklift, innovating to protect workers and power productivity. Arbill, always safety.
So we've come to the end of the presentation. So if you've got any questions, go ahead and put those in the chat so that we can go ahead and answer those between myself and Charles. And we'll go ahead and pull the chat up so that we can see any of your questions.
So I saw a quick question on the battery life in the chat, so I'll take that one. So each of the devices has a rechargeable battery. And we've designed the battery to last at least 12 hours between charges, and it takes less than an hour to charge. So, we've worked with some operators where, if they have 3 shifts, they basically have 2 sets of devices so that they can obviously rotate it quite easily. And then to attach it to truck, we basically use self-adhesive and sorry, I can't remember the English term. Chuck, help me.
You talking about the glue?
Yeah, no, the on and off.
Velcro.
That's it.
Yeah. Sorry.
I could think of the French one. I could not for my life. Save my life.
That's
the one. Thank you, Sarah.
All right. Anybody have any other questions? We got a few questions. So we've talked about battery life, 12 hours. We've talked about how it gets attached to the truck with Velcro. Distance issues, that's a good question. Charles, I don't know if you want to handle that one. Is there, the distance wise going around curves and aisles?
Yeah.
And
so we set them off for a given distance, typically 6 feet by default. If there are reasons to increase that, then obviously that can be done via, we can update the actual configuration of the devices. But there's nothing like testing it.
All right. Have we got any other questions? Covered most everything there so far. We'll give a few more minutes for some questions. Just put it in the chat if you will.
There's a question regarding signal degradation or locked.
I'm not sure what you mean by that. I don't know if you can put a little bit more precision about the question.
They may be talking about, like an area that's really, there's a lot going on. You've got multiple, areas where forklifts might be working. Okay, it says block due to equipment or structure. So, so the shelving or maybe a wall or something like that.
So we've actually had some testing done in white goods warehouses. So you think about your typical TVs and fridges and so forth, and you're right. These can actually have an impact on the reliability and the distance that the devices can measure. We have for those environments, we have a power amplified version that we can bring to market. I'd say that's probably that adds an extra layer of complexity, but that's something that we've already handled. And obviously that means that you've got a wider range to look at.
Adds a layer, extra layer there to be able to work around those, to have a stronger signal, basically, is what you're saying, right, Charles?
Yep.
All right. Any other questions? There's how many devices can be active in a given area, or there's signal interference, or are there any signal interference concerns?
We've tested with shifts of up to 150 employees, so obviously a mix of drivers and pedestrians. Now, of course, you're going to get, if you put all of those people in the same area at the same time, there's definitely going to be, quite a lot of there's not so much the interference, but yeah, you're just going to get a bit of overload. But certainly, we've had some good results on a real shift, where obviously people are going through the warehouse and going about their work. There, of course, are sometimes areas where people come in for maybe grabbing a work list or something like that. But so you have to expect that in those circumstances where there are a lot of people, they have to use common sense and ignore the alert. We have also made sure that the device doesn't constantly keep buzzing. So once it detected a specific device or a truck, it's obviously going to give you a warning, but then it's not going to keep giving you the same warning about that same truck over and over again. So we kind of managed to minimize that by doing that way.
And Sarah's mentioned, if you use the QR code at the top, please give us your feedback. We would sure appreciate it. All right. If you got any questions about any of our upcoming webinars, you're welcome to email me at cfranklin@arbill.com. And again, please give us your feedback. Just put your phone up to the QR code there and give us your feedback on this. Charles, we sure appreciate your time today to enlighten us on this new technology. And and if there's we'll give a few more minutes. Okay. Cost one-time subscription. Oh, is it a one-time subscription, or is it a cost? If you will, Jeffrey, just get in touch with me. You can email me at the email there, and I'll get back with you on that. Well, thank you, everyone, for your time today. Thank you again, Charles, for your time. And if you have any questions, you can email me at cfranklin@arbill.com. We'll be glad to answer those questions. And again, please put your phone up to the QR code there and give us a little bit of feedback. Thank you again, and have a good one.